is a part of it. He and Josh Heitfeld, who also, along with the Bulldogs, has been on fire lately.
Well, once again, an interesting, intriguing matchup. Bryant likes to operate strictly in the basket area. Heitfeld can step away, stroke it, beat you at mid-range off the bounce, and even create some off the dribble.
Check out our starting lineups. Take us through Santa Clara's first, Stephen.
Well, look at Johnson, Foster, Rahan, Transalini, and Bryant. Those three freshmen we talked about. John Bryant is the key to this attack. And for the other side, Gonzaga, you see Pargo, Bolden, familiar names. Micah Downs in the starting lineup. Austin Day and Josh Heitfeld having a career year.
4 seniors for Santa Clara moved on, 5 other players. So an entirely new lineup this year for Kerry Keating in his second year. Mark Few in his 10th year has never won less than 20 games in any of his seasons in Spokane. So we're underway, the first of 2. We've got Portland and St. Mary's coming your way next. Patty Mills back for that one. But Jeremy Pargo controls for the Zags on the opening possession. Backdoor cut, Austin Day couldn't get the handle on it. Guess who? John Bryant comes up with the game's first rebound. 27 rebounds last night against San Diego. He out-rebounded the entire San Diego club last night.
Think about that, Lav. When you think of 27 rebounds, that's almost the equivalent of scoring 50 points in terms of domination on the glass.
Well, this is a meaner John Bryant at 280 pounds. He was 310 last year.
James Rahan can shoot the threes. A freshman from San Diego, went to Torrey Pines High School, and he's had 55 threes on the year coming in.
Important that Santa Clara gets off to a good start here, get some confidence, get their fans who traveled into the game involved.
Micah Downs lets it fly. You're right, he wasn't starting earlier in the year. Now he's back in that familiar role for Mark Few.
And Micah Downs has been somewhat of an enigma throughout his career. Started out at Kansas, transferred back to Gonzaga, and at 6'8", he can do everything on the court, but just hasn't found that consistency.
Here's that matchup. Bryant, now they double him with Micah Downs. So the Zags, you got to look at what they're going to try to do. Bryant misses the easy one inside. And Bolden, who was part of the first team All-West Coast Conference, gives it off to Day, and the first foul of the game.
That's what Matt Bolden gives you. High IQ, a good feel for the basketball game, the son of a coach, just a smooth operator. He would qualify as a WD-40 player. All things run more smoothly through Bolden.
Just one of those guys, Lav, too. You know, that you watch, and he was born to play basketball. The ball seems like an extension of his hands.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Bolden at 6'5", good frame at 225. There's nothing he can't do on the court.
First foul on John Bryant. And the officials over to the scorers table maybe to take a look. Might be thinking about changing who the foul's called on, but we'll wait and see. Mark Few, the co-coach of the year last year in the West Coast Conference, along with Randy Bennett. And this year was Eric Reveneau, who took the honors from Portland. They match up with St. Mary's next. You mentioned John Bryant being the player of the year in this conference. I don't think anybody really has a problem with that or an argument with that, but there were a few who made an argument for Matt Bolden.
Oh, you would expect that. Gonzaga goes undefeated. It's a multi-talented player, the second leading scorer on Gonzaga's ball club. And as Coach said, man, it runs, what'd you say, WD-40?
Smooth.
I like that, man. I like that. You need to expound on that a little bit.
All right, so they'll sort things out. You guys will continue to talk about motor oil, and we'll take a break. Come right back. 3-3 game in the early going. First of 2 semifinals from Vegas tonight. At Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas for the semifinals of the West Coast Conference Championship. The officials still checking out, and we're told now it's the clock. Maybe a malfunction. There may have been a number of seconds, maybe 8, they said, that should have come off the clock, so they continue to work on that. John Bryant picking up his first foul. It's one thing that Santa Clara's really got to worry tonight about, foul trouble. He was in foul trouble last week against the Zags.
Well, they want to play through the big fella. He creates offense. He puts teams in a bind because you have to double down on him with the high percentage finisher that he is. 59% on the year, 14 rebounds. We're talking about the player of the year, over 2.5 blocks per game, and I think very deserving of the award. Now, naturally, Mark Few is going to stick up for his guys.
Of course.
Some of that's psychological to let him know that he's got their back.
Plus, they just hate to relinquish that. They had won it 8 straight times.
Well, you go through a conference slate undefeated. There's something to be said for his players and what they've been able to accomplish this season. So, Heidfeld's having a great season. Matt Bolden is doing his stat stuffer imitation as usual. Austin Day, maybe more upside than anybody in this conference.
Heidfeld's been terrific the last couple of weeks. He's gone throughout his career, not only this year, but throughout his career when he's had times where he kind of disappears. Not lately for the Zags.
A lot of NBA scouts here in the house in Vegas, and it's a result of Gonzaga having a deep bench, a lot of personnel, some potential prospects for the next level.
Well, there's a shock that they would choose to come to Vegas for a tournament, huh? This place has been sold out for weeks, too. Take a look at the clock now. It stops at 19:36, I'm told. It's going to stop and then won't start again.
Oh, and they sure are taking their time figuring it out.
All right, so it's stopped that entire time.
We can do a little offensive clinic here. Good cutting, some back cutting, the feet of the post. Look at the patience. Rayhan squaring the feet, shoulders, dialing one up from distance.
Finally started again. Rick Batzel, Bruce Hicks, Randy Burkhart, your officiating crew here, and they've got it figured out. With 18:25 on the game clock right now as Austin Day goes to the free throw line. Took off 16 seconds. That's what they figured out they lost there. So we're back in playing.
You look at the personnel on the floor for Gonzaga, and imagine if you're an opposing coach trying to prepare for them. Such a balanced attack, both inside and out, a number of weapons. That's what makes them so difficult to prepare for and play against. Got to pick your poison.
I agree with you, but there was one team that exposed Gonzaga this year. That was Memphis.
Woo, did they?
They came into Spokane
to the woodshed
and put a licking on them, and that's the one knock against this Gonzaga ball club. Going deep into a tournament run. We know they have the talent. Surprisingly, they're the #1 field goal defensive team in the nation. You usually don't put defense and Gonzaga together. They have all the ingredients, but we'll just have to see if they can overcome that effort on national television that really hurt them perception-wise around the country.
Good defense here. They bring the traps out. 5 on the shot clock. Bryant, little 13-footer in and out. He's had a tough early going here against the Zags.
A couple good looks as well.
Bolden cleared by you-know-who.
We're seeing the early contrast here in Temple's. Good throw ahead. Trazzolini. The finish.
The freshman from Vancouver, British Columbia, with the bucket in transition.
Often you see teams that like to run on the offensive end sometimes struggle to get back on the defensive end when they're run upon.
Austin Day, he can shoot that. Day, who's 6'11", 200 pounds, just a sophomore. His dad, Darren, big star at UCLA, 5 years in the NBA. And speaking of UCLA, that's where Kerry Keating, head coach of Santa Clara, came from. He was an assistant for Ben Howland prior to this job.
Well, a number of impressive stops on Coach Keating's resume. Also at Tennessee with Buzz Peterson. Good take by Pargo. Poor defense there by the Broncos. No one had the vision to see the ball or the initiative to stop the ball. Coast to coast, the easy deuce.
Kerry Keating, though, in his second year. Last year, we covered a couple of the games, Stephen, and you know, he just wasn't real thrilled with the complexion of his lineup. And now you've got 9 guys who moved on. New faces in, including Kevin Foster, the freshman, who was the co-newcomer of the year in the West Coast Conference. And it's a different team.
It really is a different team. And when you rely on 3 freshmen, you're going to have some inconsistency, which their record reflects. But, boy, they are building towards the future. This young man with the basketball, Kevin Foster, is going to be a great one before it's all said and done.
He's already broken a number of records. Freshman records at Santa Clara.
Well, his learning curve has been impressive here as we see Big John in traffic, kick it back out.
Coach, you were talking about pace. What do you think it favors so far in the early game?
I think Gonzaga likes this pace. They want a high volume of possessions in this game with the number of scorers they have. Good take by Day to the bucket. Strong that time. He's had the tendency to be a little soft. Not on that possession.
Trasolini picks up the foul, not Bryant. So fortunate for Kerry Keating in Santa Clara. Arena, did you take the monorail here tonight, or did you drive?
I drove you over here.
You had the limo. I know that. Santa Clara with the 1-point lead in the first of two semifinals tonight in the West Coast Conference. We mentioned Kerry Keating and his coaching lineage, the guys he has worked with and for. He had some interesting comments about those guys and what he's learned, Steve, from them.
Well, this is what he's pulled out of the mentors he's worked for. Defense from Carlissimo, the offensive schemes from Jan Van Bredikoff and Buzz Peterson's personality, and Ben Howland, of course, the single-minded focus to win. You know, I talked to Dan Kuhn, the athletic director at Santa Clara, before the game, and during the job search, when they were considering Kerry Keating, he made over 25 calls up and down the coast, Oregon, Washington, California, to high school coaches, and was really impressed in terms of the responses of those high school coaches on the reputation, the diligence, the personality of Kerry Keating. An excellent recruiter.
Saw P.J. Carlissimo watching this game with a little radio throughout the tournaments here as we head through championship week and then March Madness. Austin Day 4 for 4 from the free throw line so far.
I like this 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure after a made free throw, keeping Santa Clara off balance.
Well, and it's a wise maneuver to employ the full court press because the youth, as you mentioned, Steve, and the Santa Clara guards has led to their turnover issues, over 16 a game this year. So they burp it up offensively. A lot of empty possessions for the Broncos.
Rehan, they run it down to 4 on the shot clock again. So the Broncos trying to use as much of the shot clock as they can and limit possessions. Here comes Pargo, who's played much better in the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, he really had an outstanding year, West Coast Conference Player of the Year last season. This year, I think he had a little bit of NBA talk bouncing around in his head and kind of distracted him a little bit.
Foster let it fly from the hash mark almost, a little bit out of his range. Clean game so far. No turnovers in the game, just a couple of fouls. Might get Downs with another 3.
Great time to attack the three-point line in transition. Defense is in rotation, scattered court. An opportunity to shoot it and also get to the boards for a second shot if you missed.
It's a great time for Micah Downs to come alive as well.
Great cut. Kevin Foster on the back door from Ben Dowdell, the sophomore from Australia who just came into the game. Pargo inside, had to take it away. The quick hands of the freshman. Foster in transition now against Bolden.
Foster has the confidence of an upperclassman. You see doesn't change his demeanor on the floor, is aggressive offensively. See why he was the co-newcomer of the year in this conference.
Rehan, deep corner. Austin Day clears it. Here comes Bolden. Got Downs on the right wing. Bolden out of control in the offensive foul.
Well, Bolden would have been wise to jump stop and pull up at the mid-range. He committed himself to the air, predetermined the move. And that's where basketball is a game of read and react. Take what the defense gives you there. Like a bull in a china shop, just knocked over the defender.
First team foul on Gonzaga. Stephen Gray, who was starting through a large stretch of the season, now on the floor. The sophomore from Bainbridge, Washington.
Yeah, Stephen Gray has had a tough season shooting the basketball. Really an outstanding catch and shoot guy. It just hasn't found the range this season.
Quick hands just took it away, and now up to Micah Downs. The spin, nice turnaround off the glass and in for Downs.
Little razzle-dazzle. David Copperfield here in Vegas.
I'm going to tell you something. When Micah Downs, this is the Micah Downs that Kansas thought they had when he was recruited there out of high school.
And Gonzaga's done a great job over the years of getting transfers from bigger conferences, bigger schools.
See what Santa Clara does now without Bryant on the floor. Michael Santos in there, Scott Thompson in there. There's the man, James Rayhan, who hit a three early. Now takes it right down Broadway.
Nice change of pace by Rayhan. He was well coached at Torrey Pines High School. John Olive, longtime assistant to Wally Massimino at Villanova, part of their great run with the Wildcats in the Big East, and came out west to Loyola Marymount. Now he's a high school coach down in the San Diego area.
Gonzaga won with 2 matchups during the regular season and really blew out Santa Clara in the game early on at Spokane. Jeremy Pargo, a little backup 15-footer and in. And then Santa Clara played him tough, but dropped the second game in which Heifeld had 29 against John Bryant.
And I think in those matchups, Terry, Heifeld's athleticism really bothered Bryant. Yeah. In terms of, you have to run to keep up with Heifeld as he runs the floor.
Turnover, but they turn it over right back. Foster, Pargo on the reach. That's his first foul and the team's second.
Well, let's take a look at Micah Downs the last time. Goes right, spins, uses that 6'8" frame off the glass. That's a beautiful recognition by Micah Downs.
Now, you mentioned the only loss in 2009, the calendar year, to Memphis. They exposed a lot of weakness on this Gonzaga club, but since then they've been very consistent. You think they learned a little bit from that loss?
Oh, I definitely think they did, and that stings a little bit when you get beat like that at home on national television. Memphis was up 26 points in the second half of that game.
I think their pride was bruised, and from that point forward, Gonzaga's come out with more of a hard edge, a little bit of an attitude or swagger at the defensive end of the floor, because, as they would say, they got punked against Memphis.
Santos with 3 on the shot clock. Will Foster just came off the bench. He's all 7'5" of him. And a foul on the Zags.
A young Bronco team playing with a lot of poise here early, fellas. Take a look at James Rayhan. Little change of pace. Going to take it right to the cup and finger roll ya.
Dari, back in a place that's just a little bit different than Tobacco Road, Las Vegas. Some of the headlines: Pitt once again over UConn, and North Carolina beating Duke for the ACC regular season crown. Michigan State, the Big Ten champs. What do you think of the seeds at this point?
Well, won't be surprised if out of the Big East we get 2 number 1s and a number 2 seed. At this point, I'd have Pittsburgh and Louisville as the 1s and the 2 seed being UConn. Now, things can change during the Big East tournament because you're going against such quality opponents, and you can elevate your position in the selection committee's eyes by a deep run. I think the story is Michigan State has made a big move. 12 wins over the RPI top 50 now. If they win the Big Ten tournament in Conseco next week, I think they move into a 1 seed position.
Big Ten today, by the way, Northwestern losing to Ohio State. A lot of fans around the country, I think, not necessarily Northwestern fans, but we're rooting for the Wildcats to try to make it to the NCAA tournament for the first time.
There's no question about it. The best 9th-ranked team in any power conference in the nation.
I think they'd like to have those Purdue-Illinois games back. Oh, my gosh. I mean, it was almost
double-digit leads.
Yep.
They'd be fighting for a good seed instead of worried about getting in. But there'll be a tough matchup in the conference tournament. That spread court, Princeton-style offense, the 1-3-1 zone defense that Bill Conley employs.
Bryant had it blocked by Will Foster. Perry Petty, who just came off the bench, a junior from Milwaukee for Santa Clara, with the rebound.
See, Gonzaga is one of the few teams in the West Coast Conference that can match John Bryant in terms of height. So he's used to playing over smaller players. He's having to go over Will Foster at 7'4", 7'3", and Josh Heifeld at 6'11". It's a much different look.
Foster didn't even have to leave his feet.
I didn't get it wrong either. I didn't get it right either way.
I was confused too, because you had a Foster shooting and a Foster rebounding. Bucket at the other end, though.
Well, the Red Sea parted, and Pargo took advantage. Again, coast to coast, able to beat it, road runner it right in for the easy bucket.
Both coaches, liberal use of their benches tonight and subbing a number of guys at a time. Walking violation on Foster, gives it back to the Zags.
We talked about the importance of seeing the ball, rotating to the ball, and Pargo, a little change of direction, little stutter step, rips it through, splits defenders for the easy basket. May have gotten away with a little Charlie Chaplin walk there.
Yeah, but they're in Vegas. It's big time here. They give you a little extra half.
It's like the NBA
style.
Yeah, gotcha. Dimitri Goodson off the bench now for the Zags.
They don't want to slow the game down. They want to keep it. A lot of action.
Already did that with the clock malfunction. Austin Day, nice little move in the lane. I figured out the clock malfunction though.
Okay.
We set the clocks ahead last night enough.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they hadn't caught up yet.
Oh, okay.
We're good now. 6-point lead for Gonzaga.
I'm amazed at your powers of recognition, Terry.
Reasoning.
Just amaze me every game.
I understand.
It may have something to do with the different time zones as well that we've all been flying through here the past week. Not only set clocks back, but...
You were at Pauley Pavilion yesterday. What are you talking about? Saying it's a West Coast.
How about Tuesday night in Bloomington, Indiana, Wednesday up in Bristol, Connecticut, Thursday, Penn State, Happy Valley, and Friday coming out west to join Terry Gannon now here in Vegas. That's putting in some serious miles.
What a lucky man you are.
Frequent flyer fantasy.
5 seconds. Another turnover, giving it back to Gonzaga.
Oh, man.
Bryant sits.
It's not a bad move by Kerry Keating, though. Bryant has struggled offensively, but his freshman guards have been solid thus far, being very aggressive, going to the hole. They can stem the tide here for the next 3 or 4 minutes, give Bryant a chance to watch the game from the sideline. He may be energized when he comes back in.
Boy, Heitfeld really wanted it inside. They go to Day, though, and he buys the long one. Austin.
We're seeing the versatility in the 6'10" Austin Day. Mid-range pull-up jumpers. From distance, can see over the top of the defense. An excellent passer because of his height.
Turnover spurt the last couple of minutes for Santa Clara. Puts it. Nope. And the rebound to Cessalini. So Orleans Arena for the first of 2 semifinals tonight here in the West Coast Conference Championship. The top seed, the Bulldogs of Gonzaga, taking on the number 4 seed, Santa Clara. Up next, it's Portland and St. Mary's with Patty Mills. Quick bucket. Quickly to the other end, though, goes Stephen Gray, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, Kevin Foster with the impressive change of pace, blow by for the layup, and then Gonzaga, as you mentioned, Terry, gets organized so quickly in transition. That's drilled on both makes and misses. They run their lanes wide and they attack. 40 minutes of attack basketball. North Carolina, the best in America at that early transition attack. Memphis is right, Michigan State's right there, but Gonzaga would be in the top 5.
Guys, a reminder, championship week rolling on Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, the Big East Women's Championship, and then at 9 o'clock, the Horizon League. We got Cleveland State taking on Butler. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods on ESPN Tuesday. Just getting things underway. Number of tickets have been punched already, but the best time of the year, Mr. Bardo.
Didn't we do that game last year?
We did.
At Hinkle Fieldhouse?
It was at Butler, yes. Great place.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. If you've never been to Butler, you've got to check that place out. You see the movie Hoosiers, that's it. Bryant, inside out. Foster, deep corner 3 for the freshman.
Something to watch here. Kevin Foster from Katy, Texas. Dimitri Goodson from Texas as well. These guys know each other.
Dimitri Goodson picked up the offensive foul out.
Foster, the hot hand, torching the nets, dialing them up from all distances.
Ronny Turioff is here to watch his former Zags playing in the NBA now. It was a great one for Mark Few. Another one who's probably got a future in the NBA, Matt Bolden. Watch him spread the wealth here, Stephen.
Well, he's got a great feel for the game and knows where all of his teammates are and where they like to receive the basketball. That's a very good skill and one that Coach Lav, you could speak to on this as well. It seems like an lost art in college basketball, knowing where to find your teammates every time.
And he enjoys it. He really enjoys the thrill of the pass. He has that mindset where sharing the sugar is something that he gets excited about. A lot of kids don't really enjoy that aspect of the game. They want to dunk the ball, they want to rain threes, they want to take people off the bounce. But the artistry in the pass, creating better angles, using the bounce with a purpose, not over-dribbling and massaging. I go back to his coaching DNA. His father, having been a coach, he just got that sense of feel for the game. Grew up around basketball.
Holding just 0 for 1 from the floor, but he's got a couple of assists and doing a number of other things. They take it again, down to 5 on the shot clock. Guess who? Kevin Foster averages 15 a game as a freshman.
Now, he started as a 2 guard, so he's really a combo guard now as he took over Petty's position early in the year. And really, he started playing better basketball once Foster began to direct the attack for the Broncos.
Hey, Austin Day 6'11" doing that stuff right there, huh? You like that crossover?
You know I do. Sit here and make sure you have your ankles taped when you're guarding Austin Day, because it's now you see me, now you don't.
You know, and what's impressive, fellas, about this, at his size, look how low the crossover is. That's a shoelace crossover, which doesn't allow the defender to get that hand in there. You want to rip it through or bring it through nice and low, below the knees. People compare him at this stage to a Tayshaun Prince type player. The long wingspan, the versatility, play inside and out. As he fills out, gets stronger, puts on a little beef, he's going to be an impressive prospect.
Taken right back by Pargo. They get another chance. Pargo just an honorable mention all West Coast Conference this year after being Player of the Year last year. Austin Day also honorable mention. Stephen Gray as well. You've got Bolden and Heitfeld, first team all-conference performer.
See Bolden getting open space there, trying to create. Nice patience by Gonzaga.
Bolden, just his second attempt, and that's a 3. He gets it this time, a 7-point lead.
And a great screen as well by Austin Day, so contributing in a number of ways to the Gonzaga cause.
Well, it's been tough, Coach, for Bryant even to get the ball down on the block against Heitfeld.
Well, Bryant's trying to get that positioning, but look at the quickness of Heitfeld.
No call, kind of rushed the shot, missed it, got it back, and the bucket finally for Big John Bryant.
When you talk about a case study of hard work and a young man wanting something, John Bryant has really worked on his game.
Stephen Gray, the answer at the other end.
Gonzaga in rhythm, hitting on all the right notes offensively. Good give up on the cut by Gray. Great pass by Heitfeld.
Terry, you hit it on the head in terms of Heitfeld. You saw him catch it mid-post, and he's kind of looking over his shoulder for a teammate cutting. So not only is he aggressive offensively, but he's setting up his teammates as well.
You and I have watched a lot of Josh Heitfeld. I think he's more into the game right now and more intense, more focused than I think I've ever seen him in his college career.
Well, he's got a little daughter, so baby needs shoes. So young fella maybe try to play for some money.
Could be the meal ticket.
That's right. He definitely got the talent level.
I think also the finality of all begins to hit you as you come down the stretch. Your senior year, you realize what's at stake. Some players, that can put a burden or pressure, and they can choke up a little bit. But it seems as though he's in a nice place right now, coming down the home stretch of his career.
Ray home the bucket after they beat the Gonzaga Traps. So it's a 6-point game.
If you're just looking at the game right now, you think that Gonzaga's dominating. But Santa Clara is doing an outstanding job. They're only down 6. They haven't played their best basketball yet. Bryant hasn't gotten off that much at all.
That's what they want to do, just hang around and give themselves a chance. Pargo draws the foul.
1 second on the shot clock, Coach. They bailed him out.
Well, it's the cardinal rule in basketball. Don't foul a jump shooter. He reached there with the hand, couldn't resist putting the hand in the cookie jar.
Second foul on Kevin Foster. Another reminder, championship week getting underway. Well, here tonight and also Monday night, Southern Conference Championship. Charleston against Sanford or Chattanooga. West Coast Conference Championship right back here. Portland St. Mary's with Patty Mills in the second game tonight. That's the winner of this game. Patty Mills, by the way, cleared to play late in the week. He's only practiced a couple of days, but through it all, 5 weeks with the broken hand, he has been able to work out. He can run. He's got his legs under him at least. You just don't know how the hand's going to be.
You don't know how the hand's going to be, but you know that he is a competitor extraordinaire. This guy is a gym rat, loves to compete. You know he's not 100% healthy, but he's going to give it his all. He just loves being on the floor.
And he understands basketball. He went to the coaches and told them he wanted to come off the bench so he can adapt to the team and work his way back in, as opposed to the other way around, where his teammates would have to adjust to him. And that shows a maturity in a young person.
Ray can shoot it, but he's been in a slump lately. And missed badly that time.
Terry and Lab, you tell me what you think of this. You talk about the Australian background and the fact that those guys, they seem to be total team players. Every one of them that's on the St. Mary's team, they're all for team.
First foul on Kelvin Johnson. Earlier today, at the shoot-around, that's the hand of Patty Mills. So you see the scar. You can't tell a whole lot from the jump shot, but just the fact that he's out there at this point, great time coming back to the tournament.
He's actually got some screws in his hand from the surgery. So you just don't know.
And some swelling, you can tell.
Yep, what type of transition he's going to have coming back into the fold for the Gales.
17 fouls on Santa Clara. So Gonzaga shooting the rest of the way. And there's the swelling. Been able to practice the last couple of days, but here you go. Full speed game action, you're not quite sure.
Well, and when you have opponents slapping down on your hands as well, you know, that's going to be a factor for him to take into consideration.
And he's diminutive in size as it is.
Yes.
So I'd expect teams to try and exploit that matchup and run him down to the block. See how he guards in the basket area.
Hey guys, the difference in this game so far, the fact that Gonzaga's gotten to the free throw line. They're rubbing points from the stripe.
Well, in their last matchup, it was a competitive game. There were the 2 technical fouls. There was a Pepsi plastic bottle thrown on the court by the Santa Clara fans, and then a hot dog wrapper, a foiled wrapper, that was crumpled up and tossed as well. And they got 4 free throws off of those technical fouls at 2 different points in the second half.
Going to make a call. Josh Heitfeld trying to keep Bryant from getting the basketball. First foul on Heitfeld, the 16th foul, as we step away for a moment. Larry, thank you. Back here in Vegas. These are the tickets punched so far for the tournament. Sit back, relax, watch a little hoops over the course of the next week, guys.
Yes. That Northern Iowa game right there was something else.
How about John Bryant now? Difficult it's been for him in the first half.
Well, the big plotter, the big Hanyak, trying his best, putting out the effort, but just one of those days, not getting much done. Very little production here in the first half, and I think Gonzaga's quickness has been a factor, and they do a nice job of fronting and backing and congested. Not much daylight in the post, not many good looks. Big workhorse, a Hanyak, a plotter.
I've never heard that, so hey, educate me, bro.
Bill Laimbeer was a great Hanyak in the NBA.
Is that from your Purdue days? Is that Midwest speak or what?
It is Midwest blue collar.
All right.
Bringing a Hanyak-like effort, a yeoman's effort.
Mussolini, he'll go to the free throw line after that foul. Now Bryant just 1 of 5 for 2 points so far tonight. Championship week rolling on Tuesday. Another reminder, the Women's Big East Championship. And then the Horizon League title on the line. Cleveland State against number 22 Butler. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Cornell punched their ticket. Returned 9 of their 10 leading scorers from last year. Steve Donahue turning Cornell into the premier program in the Ivy League. They've surpassed Princeton in recent years for so long under Pete Carrill and then Bill Carmody and then John Thompson III. It was the Tigers that dominated the Ivy League, but a new king in town in the Ivy League, Cornell.
Bryant took a seat. Cressolini had a big effort last night in the win over San Diego. 18 points and 8 rebounds. He was 7 of 9 from the floor in that game. Argo posted up. Inside out to Bolden. Halfway down and out. How about that, though? To be able to do that, take the point guard, post him up, and have Bolden on the outside. Backdoor. Nice cut and the foul. Marcos Santos, but the offensive foul is called.
And Downs rotating from the weak side. Thought he might have been a little too far under the basket.
There's been a lot of conversation with that ring right there. He's got that ring on the court right now.
On the replay, looked like he just got set. got to give him credit for alertly getting there. And then the hands straight up, building the wall with the hands towards the rafters. So often players will, verticality-wise, come down.
What do you think? I think a play like that, you got to let the offense do its thing.
I agree, but I think that's why college needs that ring like NBA does, because it takes all the, it's much easier for much easier for the refs.
Austin Day in double figures.
This is one of the more impressive performances I've seen this year out of Austin Day. Hasn't forced the action, taking what the defense gives him, got the jump ball force there with those long arms, the wingspan, the reach there.
Well, Petty knew he was coming out of the game, so he went 1-on-5 that time.
He had a little biological shot clock going, huh?
Hey, man, he
saw the subs there at the table.
He knew he was coming out, so he had to get his opportunity up.
So they continue to bring Bryant in and out. Give him a quick rest here and there. He's back in. Taken away by the 6'10 Austin Day.
Well, he gets those hands out like an oak tree. Takes up a lot of space.
Hargo runs it down and lets it fly. It's a heck of a way to get a three-pointer, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Pure athleticism and hustle by Jeremy Pargo.
Zags on a roll, fella. They have attacked the three-point line. Opportunistic, both in transition. This one, a broken play, but they'll take it. Lock and load.
Just like that, Gonzaga has opened up a 14-point lead. Under 2:40 to go until the break. You just said it a moment ago. Santa Clara did a great job of hanging in there, which they were. Very quickly, Zags turning them over once again.
Let's say now the youth of Santa Clara is starting to show. Santos gets a turnover. Ciasolini along the baseline. You saw a quick shot opportunity from Kevin Foster. The youth is starting to be exposed here, and it's so important in these conference tournament situations to maintain your composure, especially in the first half.
Well, this is a grizzled Gonzaga squad that's played on the national stage for so many years, and Pargo feeling it, at peace with his game.
All right, so what's the one thing that NBA scouts say Pargo can't do?
Shoot the three consistently.
What's he done the last two trips?
Shoot the three consistently.
He hasn't had a good bill of health all season. He had troubles with his back.
Galgal a force. He's going against 6'11 and 7'5. He's got no chance to do that.
No chance. If you're going up against a shot blocker, you got to go right through the chest. You can't try to avoid contact.
Day aggressive in this first half. Can't get it to go.
Gonzaga does an excellent job of just spacing the floor and probing matchups and then playing out of those advantages within those matchups.
Heady the drive this time. So you got a 6-footer going against 7'5. Golden and open look for three. And the Zags are running away here in the first half.
Tickling the twine. Santa Clara not getting back with the necessary sense of urgency to find shooters and stop the ball.
And the foul on Matt Bolden, his second.
Santa Clara is taking really quick shots, though, and it results in this look from Matt Bolden right here. As you said, Coach, not getting back quick enough, but bad shot selection leaves you unbalanced getting back defensively.
And at the outset, we talked about the key being which team could impose their preferred style of play or tempo on the opponent. And clearly Gonzaga, with 46 points, a little under a minute to go here in the first half, is playing that high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal style they prefer to be at.
Santos the miss at the free throw line. Gonzaga 7 of 11 beyond the arc. Look at that. Hard to get beat when you're doing that, and a great edge in terms of the free throws as well. 11 of 13.
Well, if you guard the three, when they break you down off the bounce, look at the pick and pop, Downs with the delivery, nice little two-man game on one side of the floor. And that's an example, almost like an NBA team. They just keep their space and go to work. Little two-man game.
Well, Santa Clara is hedging hard on the pick and roll, but the big men are not able to get back. defensively on the road.
Let's take a look at this two-man game on one side of the floor as we're going to see the screening action and the bounce utilized by Downs. He stretches the two defenders and then throws back to Day, who spots up and strokes one from distance.
Guys, Josh Heitfeld just picked up his second foul, but John Bryant at the line, he's 1 for 5 from the floor. Only 2 points in the game. 24.4 left until the break. You tell somebody he's got 2 points. Santa Clara's got no chance to be in this one.
And as we see the score right now, struggling without their main man, Gonzaga has kept him off balance.
Yep.
They've had Heitfeld, they've had Day, Foster's run at him, they've double-teamed him, they've backed off. They've done a really good job of keeping him off balance.
And Bryant is never going to be effective in a game that's a track meet.
Right.
He needs the time, the deliberate tempo to be able to set up that big wide body in the lane and be effective at both ends, both defensively and offensively, in a slower, methodical game.
It seemed like last night suited him perfectly with the 27 rebounds. Most in NCAA the last 3 seasons, and he's got to keep up with Day and Heitfeld running the floor like that. It takes a little bit of his effectiveness away.
Final possession, final shot. Pargo, as they leave him wide open, off the heel. That'll do it here in the first half. And what a first half it's been for Gonzaga. John Bryant, a major struggle against Heitfeld and the guys. He's just got 3 points. Heitfeld hasn't gotten on the boards, but he's done a terrific job defensively.
Who picked those stars anyway? That was the producer, or was that you, Terry? Was that you, Steven?
By the way, Pargo and Day, 27 points. Santa Clara's got 27, so it's 48-27. To check out our first half stat sheet presented by Guinness, St. Patrick's Day coming up. John Bryant just 3 points, 1 of 5 from the floor. That's got to change if they're going to get back into this one. And you see the 17-2 run to close out the first half. Pargo was terrific. A couple of long threes in the first half. He was posting guys up. There's that matchup, though. Josh Heitfeld and John Bryant. Zags with the ball to open up the second half.
Gonzaga played extremely good defense. 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes and 14 seconds for Santa Clara.
Heitfeld still hasn't gotten on the board. Doing a great job on the defensive end, but he has yet to score. Hasn't really needed to score for the Zags so far. What do you think Kerry Keating said to his club at halftime?
Get the ball right here and get out of the way.
They do this time. The spin along the baseline, and Bryant, the nice move around Heitfeld.
Clearly, they got away from their game plan, which was to play at a slow, deliberate pace. And look at Mr. Day picking right up from where he left off in the first half. And if you're Mark Few, fellas, you have to like the confidence that your team's playing with this late in the year. Pargo and Day have been inconsistent, but today they've been lights out.
There's the double. Micah Downs helping. Heitfeld trying to stop. Quick hands, strong hands. Josh took it right away from the big fella. Holden, the blocking foul. Calvin Johnson picking up his second.
I thought Calvin Johnson was in position here, moving his feet. You see the shoulder of Bolden goes right through the center of the chest of Calvin Johnson. That should have been a charge.
What more can you do? He's giving
much
feet,
more, right?
He's giving ground, takes it right on the chest.
Micah Downs opened up the game that way.
I don't know about you guys. Micah Downs is the X factor. When they can get production from him from that wing position, he takes so much pressure off of Pargo, Bolden, Heitfeld, and Day.
Well, you see now why in the preseason, as John Bryant can get called for the offensive fouls, he was trying to back up like a steamroller there. But you see now why in the preseason Gonzaga was projected to be a Final Four team. The personnel and firepower at Mark Few's disposal, impressive.
But through the middle of the season, there are a lot of doubts surrounding this squad. Pargo wasn't playing as well as he had in the past. Heitfeld would go in stretches where he wasn't the same kind of presence. Right now, they seem to have put it all together.
And Austin Day's been very up and down the Dow Joneser, not playing at a consistent level.
Kevin Foster just picked up his third foul for Santa Clara. The number 4 seed taking on the number 1 seed here in the semifinals. Santa Clara having beaten San Diego last night. Another chance for the Zags. No one stepped in along the baseline.
That was called schools in session. Mark Trassolini was in position defensively, and Matt Bolden gave him the old okey-doke along the baseline.
Foster, a big first half, can't buy it this time. And Downs hauls in the rebound. Bolden. Trassolini the rebound. Don't forget, we've got another semifinal coming up next. Portland taking on St. Mary's. Patty Mills back in the lineup. Turnover gives it back to Gonzaga. Ben Dowdell comes off the bench for Kerry Keating. Trassolini takes a seat.
Coach Keating is letting him know about that play. Not coming up with that loose ball and then allowing baseline for an easy drive for Bolden. Those things just kill you in this type of situation.
You know, it's difficult as a coach. You have the game plan. We talk about it during shoot-arounds, practices, film sessions, the scouting reports. But that game plan can get away from you. And I think that's what's happened to Santa Clara. They went too fast. They had the multiple turnovers. And Big John not a factor when they're playing at faster speeds.
Well, without John Bryant scoring, I don't think there is a game plan for Kerry Keating. It doesn't exist.
And the only way to have him involved is to play at a deliberate, grinding, methodical tempo.
James Rahan with the bucket. It's 55-31. Rahan with 9 in the game. Hargo draws the foul on a Bronco. And is it on Kevin Foster? That's 4 on him. Now if you're Kerry Keating, you're at the 16:47 mark. He's been your one bright spot. Austin Day gets loose.
I think the concern if you're Kerry Keating is your team's given up 60% field goal percentage to Gonzaga. No resistance at the defensive end in transition or the half court.
And they've been through this before. They were blown out by the Zags in the first matchup this year. 95-43, 95-53. It was the worst loss ever in West Coast Conference play.
See the wheels falling off the cart right now for Santa Clara. And you're always coaching if you're Kerry Keating. You've got such a young ball club. Again, a lot of time, first experience for a lot of these guys.
A little bit too much.
Yike them.
And guess what? As quickly as that ball was taken away, Mark Few was off the bench saying, get him.
Oh, I love it. They're always coaching, regardless of the score. Wow.
We call those the honk. That means the sub is coming. Honkers.
Santos picks up his second foul. Yeah, Austin knows it. Yeah.
Look at the baseline execution by Santa Clara. Micah Downs, an influence here. The screener is going to come up and set the good pick, and then a setup and the cut by Day. Nice change of pace there. Good delivery. Wide open flush.
Lack of communication.
No one chugging cutters. No one shading the basket, keeping on one side of the floor.
Great look and the dunk. Micah Downs from Bolden. All cylinders now.
That's your man, Stephen Bartle.
I'm telling you.
The X Factor.
I think he's the X Factor for this team.
Oh, Hargo just took it right away.
They got a lot of X Factors.
Yikes.
Holy smokes.
Rahan over Heitfeld. Yep, he gets it over the big guy. Rahan's had a good game. He's in double figures, and Hargo wants to just fast forward right through that section of the tape.
And if you look at the Gonzaga bench, you see a lot of red faces. Kind of embarrassed for their man.
Now this one's close to garbage time right now.
And we'll be watching that tonight when they're having pizza back at the hotel. We'll be busting on him.
Mark Few isn't amused right now. And obviously Kerry Keating isn't either. Pretty basketball. Bolden looking for his teammate. And it's Downs out of the glass. 59-34. Gonzaga over Santa Clara. The big fella, John Bryant, a long evening. Just 2 of 7 for 5 points. He does have 6 rebounds, but this is a guy who averages a double-double. 18 points, 14 rebounds a game. Leads the nation in double-doubles and in rebounding. Struggle against Josh Heitfeld and the rest of the post contingent from Gonzaga.
This will be a great learning opportunity for Santa Clara. Their younger players in the off-season go back to the drawing board.
Heitfeld still is not on board. Out of bounds to Santa Clara. 14:49 left here in Vegas, the first of two semifinals in the West Coast Conference Championship. Gonzaga 49 left here in Vegas. Number 14, Gonzaga taking on Santa Clara, the top seed. The Zags are, and showing you why. From start until this point in the game. Very Petty yo-yoing out front for Dowdell.
Petty loves to pet that rock, giving that rock a headache.
Rayhan, there's the rebound from John Bryant and the putback.
Maybe that's why Petty got benched. He had the starting point guard position at one point and had it taken from him by Kevin Foster. It might have been massaging or hatching it like an egg. Get rid of it.
Definitely.
Heitfeld gets fouled. That's what championship week is all about. Here it's been all Zags in Vegas. 59-36 as Josh Heitfeld goes to the line, trying to get on the board for the first time. He's had a busy evening, though. He's had a little work to do at the other end still with no points.
But Gonzaga's one of those unique teams where 5 or 6 guys, different guys, can lead them in scoring. Last similar to a team that you covered throughout the year, Minnesota Gopher team, who's struggling for their NCAA tournament live, has 7 or 8 guys that have led them in scoring this season. So very balanced ball play.
And that makes them a tough opponent to prepare for. You can't key on just 1 or 2 players.
How about that win yesterday in that game you had? You were at Minnesota, right?
Hey, Michigan looked dead in the water in the second half, and Lucas Perry gets hot from 3, and then they ride Deshaun Sims to the finish line. Impressive victory at Minnesota.
Rayhan's been a bright spot for Santa Clara tonight. He knocks one down. Orleans Arena, first time ever. It's the 23rd edition of the West Coast Conference Championships. First time they've held it at a neutral site, and they brought it here to Vegas. It sold out the place throughout championship week, as a matter of fact. Up next, Portland taking on the 2 seed St. Mary's. Patty Mills back in the lineup off that broken hand, so he will play as they try all they can do to get to the NCAA tournament. Jump hook for Heitfeld over John Bryant.
You know, to Heitfeld's credit, it's been a quiet night offensively, but he hasn't allowed that to affect his energy, his body language, his mindset still into the game, and that shows a big leap in maturity for the big fella.
Guys, I mentioned St. Mary's, and obviously we'll talk more about that in the second semifinal as the jump ball here stays at this end. How close to being into the NCAA tournament is St. Mary's at this point? And say they go to the championship game and don't win this title, do they get in?
I still think they've got enough work that they've done in the non-conference schedule. And you have to look at their record with Patty Mills. 18-1 with him in the lineup.
Yeah.
I think the committee has to take that into consideration. I think they've done enough work to merit an at-large bid.
No question in my book. If they use the criteria that the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee claims they do, which is factoring in injuries, then how could they not be in the tournament?
Foul on Calvin Johnson, that's his third. Austin Day will go to the free throw line. The Gales at 24-5, 10-4 in conference play. So you see their RPI, strength of schedule not great. But with Patty Mills, they added a game against Eastern Washington. They'll play it Friday. They had a game to add, wanted to do it, number one, to get Patty Mills some more playing time, to prove that he is okay, they're at full strength, and to add to their win total, obviously.
And it's unusual that you see a game added at that time of year, but it's interesting that it just fell that way for Randy Bennett and St. Mary's to be able to do that to also get their team reacclimated to Patty Mills and let Patty Mills come in and do his thing.
Makes sense to you to add that game?
Absolutely. Works out perfect. The longer you can practice and play together like musicians, the more comfortable you are, the better music. If you're musicians, the better level of basketball you can play. The more you jam together, practice together, play together.
Not a real danger of being injured as a member of a band. Out here on the basketball court,
depends where you're jamming. Late night, it can get dangerous now. St. Louis, Chicago.
Tressolini, the 16-footer, well short. Here comes Fargo behind the back. He's had a big night, guys.
He looks comfortable, Terry, more so than we've seen him this season. And looks like he's settled into his role of being a guy that is opportunistic, not forcing the issue like we saw earlier this year.
Fargo's 5 of 7 with 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Interesting if Gonzaga wins out. Where will they be in terms of seeding if we see Zags in transition? Another easy bucket for Fargo on the run out. You know, they're between a 4 and a 6. I don't think they'll drop lower than a 6. They could rise to a 5 or a 4 with an impressive performance. And keep in mind, captive audience right now, selection committee watching on national TV, and they're able to frame the argument for them getting a higher seed.
10 steals for the Zags tonight. One of the guys who's led them, guy heating up, presented by DiGiorno. Fargo has been terrific every phase of the game. 65-39. So he gets our DiGiorno. You get it? Heating up. DiGiorno. Was that lost on you or what?
If you say so, Terry, I mean, you know.
I'm not just reading the card. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling this one.
You're feeling something because you were on fire here earlier to start the game.
Speaking of that,
March Madness.
How about this for a segue? They're really a non sequitur. But Gonzaga, in terms of their dominant, we mentioned they've won 9 straight regular season crowns. Also, they've won 8 of the last 10 West Coast Conference championships. They had a run of 8 straight players of the year in the West Coast Conference. I mean, pretty remarkable. Mark Few, 20 wins plus every season for a decade.
That's as high a level of consistency as you're going to see around the country. Of the premier programs that we talked about, that's as good as it gets.
It's pretty similar, actually, to what Jerry Tarkanian was able to do in the old PCAA. And Jerry's in attendance here tonight, sitting courtside. Tark the Shark.
And we're going to take a closer look at that dominance. And I think in one of the graphics, UNLV might pop up when we come back. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Rolling on. 65-39. Gonzaga over Santa Clara. Semifinal action here in the West Coast Conference. Rayhan had 15 points tonight for Santa Clara. Bryant, who struggled, he's only got 7. Out to Foster. They had a good first half. Can't get it done in the second. And Kevin Foster, guys, playing with 4 fouls.
And I thought Kerry Keating took a gamble and lost with keeping Foster in the game at the beginning of the second half with 3 fouls. And he's guarding Jeremy Fargo at the time, and Fargo is feeling it. So
they go right to Bolden, excuse me. He's got 4 fouls, he can't guard him, so they take Bolden down to the block.
Goes back to that NBA style offensively that the Zags employ. Probing, surveying, matchup advantages. There's the block from the weak side by Heitfeld again. Not putting up big numbers offensively, but his influence is felt at both ends.
Inside out, Rayhan, another look. Heitfeld contact, run down to the corner by Goodson.
He's got a little speed to his game, huh? Afterburners, little road runner. He's the future of Gonzaga in terms of point guards.
Tressolini picked up his second. Goodson, just a freshman from Spring, Texas.
Goodson is brother Mike, running back at Texas A&M, so that strong Texas football blood. See why Dimitri Goodson, if your older brother's a football player at the collegiate level, you got to be pretty tough. You know, my brother played basketball, and He instilled some toughness in me. I can't imagine being a football player.
He beat you up?
Oh,
challenged you?
all the time. But I love him for it.
Argo called for the foul along the baseline. So the 9:55 mark here in the first semifinal of the evening in Vegas. Terry Gannon, Stephen Barno, Steve Lavin with you. Zags in control. They have been throughout. They have absolutely shut down John Bryant, who has just 7 points in the game. He's 2 of 7 from the floor. Tough to get it to him even on that possession. And open for a moment, but Heitfeld doing a great job.
And, you know, they've even limited his touches, which has been very impressive.
Austin Day has had a big evening for the Zags.
The kiss off the window pane. Little smooch by Austin Day.
20 in the game for Austin.
You look at Gonzaga, we're seeing a tremendous display here this evening. One of the things that people talk about them on a national level, Coach, are they tough enough? Do they have the toughness to make a deep run into the tournament?
Third foul on Heitfeld. Send it back to the studio, and Dari Noka right now. .30-point lead for the Zags at the 9-11 mark. Santa Clara 16-16 on the year, 7-7 throughout the regular season in the West Coast Conference. Taken away. Here come the Bulldogs. Goodson. Nice. Pretty team play.
The extra pass in the fast break.
Day's got 22. Bryant takes a look, says, I'll stay out here and shoot it along the baseline. It does. He's got 9.
Well, you look at John Bryant, and there is a question, can he play at the NBA level? I don't know if he's athletic enough, but that young man can make some money somewhere because he knows how to put the ball in the hole and has a nose for the ball in his rebounding ability.
I think he showed people a lot in the offseason, too, by losing the 30 pounds. You know, making himself into the player of the year in the West Coast Conference this year. Stephen Gray tries the 3 ball, and it's a 33-point lead.
They also overcame that stabbing incident. Right. He was stabbed in the preseason, and, you know, came back from that extremely well.
Quick move to the left hand by Bryant. He goes around Will Foster, who came in to give Heitfeld a break. He went out with the 3 fouls.
Nice job of being patient. Swings through and nice hook. A little rib shot by John Bryant.
There's no little in the conversation when you're talking about John Bryant. Nothing about him or his play. Second foul on Stephen Gray just a moment ago. Taking advantage, though. Will Foster comes in. Heitfeld out with the 3 fouls. 2 straight trips. Bryant's able to go get a bucket. Foster trying to answer now. Finally gets a shot off, and they call for a walking violation.
I thought either walking or a 10-second violation in the key.
Yeah, not 3 seconds.
Which way they'd go. 11 seconds? How many are you getting there?
They blow the whistle finally. They'll take a break, so we'll wait. Back here in the Orleans Arena, just off the Strip in Las Vegas, 7:30 and counting. And Gonzaga with a sizable lead in the first semifinal round.
You know, I think it's been a very good decision by the West Coast Conference to move the conference tournament here. Typically on one team's home court like we saw last year with San Diego. I think that played a role in them getting to the NCAA tournament. So you come to Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It does not. that missed dunk by Cargo, that's not going to stay in Vegas.
Oh, that's true.
Rayhan. And you've known that anyway. Austin Day just keeps it rolling. He just hit a three. It's 77-43. All Gonzaga here in the first of two semifinals in the West Coast Conference Championship. Terry Gannon back with Stephen Bardo and Steve Lavin. Look at that, 12-1 in terms of steals. You go through the numbers, guys. It's going to be all Gonzaga tonight.
Just been very dominant in their play on both ends of the floor and showing the nation why they're the #1 field goal percentage defensive team in the nation.
Gray. Foster tipped it out. Stays here. Another reminder, Championship Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Rolling on Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, the Big East Women's Championship. And then at 9 Eastern, the Horizon League and the men's title. Cleveland State taking on number 22, Butler.
And Brad Stevens, the coach of the Bulldogs at Butler, in the mix for a National Coach of the Year award. Look at how he reloaded. Matt Howard in the post, Beasley an outstanding player as well, and they put up some big numbers this year.
What do you like for National Coach of the Year? Bill Self has got to be part of that conversation at Kansas.
Self, Calipari, Bruce Weber, Leonard Hamilton, Mike Anderson, Lorenzo Romar at Washington.
Gray with the reverse dunk. Zag's just having fun right now.
Well, Mark Few, he could be up for Coach of the Decade with the run he's had at Gonzaga. You know, since 1992, this may surprise some of our viewers, Gonzaga actually has the highest winning percentage and has won more games than any other team in the Western United States.
We got to wait till travel right there.
No, it's been remarkable the last decade for Gonzaga. You think about where they're the model for every mid-major in the country, and I'm not even sure you can call them a mid-major now. Will Foster barely got it, but he got the dunk, Stephen.
Hey, when you're 7'5", you can barely a lot of things and still get it done. The fingertip dunk. Kind of like, that looked like how you would dunk. Fingertip right there.
If I could, yes. You're right. Down done. Over Foster that time. So the Zags, you think about what they've done since the start of 2009. Austin Day is ridiculous tonight, huh?
Yeah, he is ridiculous.
28 points. He's 10 of 13 and 3 of 4 beyond the arc.
And it's so effortless. You know, we talk about players being at peace with their game. He failed out there defensively. Should have came over and helped close the hole defensively. But that's why there's so many NBA scouts in the house.
Now you get the calculator out. You're saying, okay, let me get mine. Bolden shoots the quick three because you know there are subs over there waiting to check in.
And Ira Brown smiling at us, enjoying the display as much as his hometown fans are here.
Zags fans on their feet in Vegas, and they brought a lot of them.
On a roll in Vegas at the right time of the year if you're a Gonzaga fan.
Gray never saw Foster, who's played much of the last 6-7 minutes with 4 fouls. And one for Rayhan, who's had a good night. So it's 87-49. A decade of dominance continues for Gonzaga, their 9th straight regular season crown, looking for their 10th overall West Coast Conference tournament title. We'll talk more about that when we roll on from Vegas.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs have won it 8 in the last 9 years.
They've been on a roll for a decade. They've been dominant in the West Coast Conference and come tournament time. And as you guys mentioned, the only 2 times in the last 10 years that they have not won the tournament title was 2003, 2008. They had to play at San Diego in that championship game. So now you've got the neutral court. Mark Few says, I love being in Vegas. The conference crowns, they are tied with Kentucky. 9 in a row, just behind UNLV, Jerry Tarkanian. There he is.
Park the Shark in the house.
Where's the towel?
Now you retire that once you leave the bench.
And he needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think it's going to happen. We know why that he hasn't thus far, but there'll be enough outcry, I believe, that it should definitely happen.
Without a doubt.
Ira Brown in for Mark Few now in the Zags. So is Andrew Sorensen, the senior from Olympia, Washington. So able to get some of those guys playing time here in the last 3.5 minutes. Foster lost it out of bounds. 21 on the shot clock. What do you think, guys? Now, I mean, we've seen the Zags throughout the year, but right now the way they're playing, when you look ahead to the NCAA tournament, I think they're playing their best basketball.
I don't think there's any question about it. You see them on the offensive end. When Micah Downs is scoring the basketball, they spread you so thin on the defensive end. And then Heifeld, as Coach Lab mentioned, stays active on the defensive end regardless of his offense, boy, they're tough to score against.
Well, the depth, the firepower, playing with a big margin for error. They can have 1 or 2 players have a quiet night, and there's 3 other guys who can step up and be productive. Each inside, outside, in transition.
Rayhan hits another one. He's got 20 in the game. What's their weakness? You look ahead, what type of team would give them trouble?
Memphis. I mean, you know, if I want to see what happens to them when they get punched. Everybody has a game plan until you get hit. And once you get hit, you have to adjust. And we saw them earlier this season against Memphis. They didn't adjust very well.
I think a team that can match their overall speed and then is more physical, that's the type of team that can give them troubles.
Kevin Foster, he's got a great future at Santa Clara. Just a freshman. Knocked down that last one. Micah down the fadeaway, and that's a long range. There's your X factor right there.
Yeah, I tell you what, they've been very patient with Micah Downs here at Gonzaga, but it appears he's playing his best basketball of his career right now when they need it most.
They're going to need new nets at both ends, the way Gonzaga has shredded from all angles, torching those nets.
Foster the foul. Another reminder, championship week getting underway and then rolls on through the week. Monday, 7 Eastern. Southern Conference title right there. Where's Davidson?
College of Charleston. Bobby Crimmins doing an excellent job this season with his ball club.
No Steph Curry there in that championship game. And then we're back here for the title game tomorrow night. It'll be Gonzaga against either St. Mary's or Portland. And that's going to be a good matchup. Number one, you've got the question mark of Patty Mills. How healthy is he? How good is the hand right now? Are they at full strength? And Portland's a team that could give them trouble. They shoot the threes.
Shoot the threes very well, led by Ravio, who gets them going. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm really curious to see how St. Mary's blends with Patty coming back.
You're right. And they split the 2 matchups during the regular season. Bryant done for the evening.
And Portland not only has those shooters, they've got 5 postmen down low, 25 fouls to use to play that physical brand of basketball Eric Reveneau employs. And, of course, he's a disciple of Mike Montgomery, having played at Stanford, also coached down on the farm in Palo Alto. And so he's basically taken Mike Montgomery's blueprint for success up to Portland. And he's got the big, powerful bodies down low, and then they knock down shots from distance. They're going to be a tough out.
He's the coach of the year in the West Coast Conference.
He was a plotter, a workhorse.
What was the other word?
Hanyak. Eric Reveneau. Matter of fact, Stanford had so many of them. Van Elswick.
That might even be a word you can't say on television. I don't even know.
Oh, no, hard worker? Nothing wrong with that. Blue collar?
Live, having fun now. That's all it's about.
You know, and you don't want to see teams run the score, but you also like to see your players play hard when they get the opportunity.
Now St. Mary's getting ready, watching the end of this one. So they'll take the floor, and we'll start about a half hour after this one ends, taking on the Pilots.
One of my favorite players in college basketball back there, Diamond Simpson. One of the more underrated forwards in the nation. He's going to have to bring his A game against the Pilots this evening. It's going to be a great matchup.
And Diamond Simpson, the all-time leading rebounder in school history. That means he passed Tom Meschery, whose numbers retired by the Golden State Warriors, one of the all-time great Gales. So impressive. Now he had the extra year because Meschery played during an era when freshmen were ineligible.
You've got just a little history in that neck of the woods.
Well, Tom Meschery, too, an impressive poet, an author. So he's got a little renaissance in his game.
Kind of like you, huh, Coach?
I can't go there. Maybe my dad.
You renaissance?
Sorensen with the miss. Brown, who spent 5 years in the minor leagues as a baseball player. Almost had the rebound. Downdell. Nate Mensah in the game now for Kerry Keating. How about the future for Kerry Keating in Santa Clara?
Oh, it definitely looks bright with 3 freshmen on the all-freshman squad. They got extensive playing time this season. Talk about Rehan, Trassolini, and Foster. A lot to build on with those 3 players.
They got Robert Smith coming in next year. And Nee Harrison, a 6'7", 4-man. So the future is bright. Kerry Keating's going to keep loading up on the recruiting. That's the lifeblood of any program. You got to get players.
It's going to do it for Mark Few and Gonzaga. They go to the title game for the 15th time. Looking for their 10th West Coast Conference Tournament championship.